I'm going to kick off with a short video. And those of you who have read or seen the Hijacker's Guide for the Galaxy, or to the Galaxy, might have some understanding what you're looking at. Okay, so. Nobody will hear that, right?
What is that? Put this in your ear.
Okay, so basically what you are seeing now is not a torture of people. It's a Babel fish getting inserted into Arthur's ear because he doesn't understand what the aliens are talking about. And yeah, that's nice. So, and this is the explanation. It's a science fiction, guys, okay? Don't worry. So, and this fish gets information unclear to the brain and executes information clear and understandable in any language. Okay, so that's the essence. Sorry for not having this on actual sound, but we can do that. So anyway, what is iOlite? So first of all, don't worry. Nobody will require to push anything in anybody's ear or anybody else. So iOlite, though, is a platform that bridges between mainstream users, trained or untrained, and blockchain technology, which basically means that anybody can sit down, start writing in its own language, natural or programming, and the system will generate a smart contract. So here's the thing. Earlier discussed by the panels, we have a huge problem because everything that's been done in this space is quite pointless to the great extent if there will be no mass adoption. Some numbers just to get acquainted with this problem. So we have lots of people, 2.5 billion, this is from some research I've read, and only 5 or 6 million wallets are being used. So these are the potentials, and this is what currently have. Very small numbers. In terms of commercial side, there are 80% of executives, top executives, who are willing to use blockchain technology, but how many are actually using that? And there are many problems to those who understand this field to the adoption. I've split it in 3 major obstacles. So we have the technical one, which is about scaling and speed and memory and all those technical issues that the community are already dealing with. There's obviously the regulatory environment, which is not helpful too much. But the most important factor is the human factor. Because there's bias, there's misunderstanding, there's lack of training, lack of knowledge. There are a couple of solutions out there that deal with the same problem as we do in terms of languages. For example, Neo, that allows you to write smart contracts with Java and other programming language. We have EOS with WebAssembly. And we have the gentlemen Jason King and Mo Levine who are doing the Academy, which is training people to smart contract, to writing smart contract. But here's the thing. We live in a Babylon environment. We have over 6,000 natural languages that are being spoken and over 500 programming language. So what happens if tomorrow there will be another blockchain that will be used or additional languages that are coming up? So those solutions out there are actually centralized because they need to be supported. So we need something more generic, more flexible. This is where iOlite comes in. Essentially, you can call it a layer 3 above the blockchain, and I will explain. So you have the peer-to-peer payments in Bitcoins. You have the logic in Ethereum that comes in a transaction. And the layer 3 is the communication with that blockchain. And we do that through the language. Just a few words of how it looks, at how it works. We have the user interface, which is a plugin. So imagine you have a plugin in your IDE, which is Visual Studio for that matter, or an Office. You open that plugin, you write down, you start writing your own language, and the fast adaptation engine is the machine learning core that we use, which is actually based on Stanford research. And we also use a blockchain for the compensation procedure of the contributors. So it's not artificial intelligence 100%, because we use contributors and experts to help the machine to parse the text that's being inserted into the environment. And those who have been accepted in terms of contribution, been compensated with iOlite coins. Just as an example in terms of use case we have in Ethereum. So this is what's going on today. You have a bottleneck on that Solidity expert. Everybody needs to, an entrepreneur needs to have a programmer, a financial expert, legal expert sometimes, and everybody needs to have that person that writes the contract. And it's expensive, it takes a long time. With iOlite, we flatten the environment. Everybody that's relevant for that particular contract and agreement is involved in the process of creating it. So once we remove the barriers of language, what happens? You don't need training. You don't need knowledge, particular knowledge in programming. Everybody else, the mainstream, will jump in because everybody already knows the benefits of using blockchain, reducing operational costs, security, and all of the other stuff that blockchain is known for. No need for special training, reducing the time to market. All of these things are coming handy when you are running commercial and other type of organizations. A few words about the team. We are a non-profit organization, okay? We have this is a partial team. This is my second project within the blockchain space. Dimitri is co-founder, is my co-founder, is heavily into cyber and other programming tools. Our advisory board is comprised out of blockchain and mainstream experts. We have people from Google, Cisco, and more. We have even psychologists, web psychologists to help us to create the right community in this space. Few words about where we are now. So it's not that long. It sounds like science fiction, but it's not. We actually will have a POC running within a matter of weeks. You're welcome to follow us. We have a TGE. We are not sure we're going to make it public, though. And we're currently running a private sale. So I'm going to leave you with this thought in mind, just in terms of vision. If iOlite can translate and migrate any language to blockchain language, why stop there? Thank you.